Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to my stream. YouTube's being a little laggy today. Took a little bit for it to tell me I was live. How's everyone doing? Say hi, everybody in chat. Yeah. How's everyone doing? Good morning, LJ and Rockless and 14Q. Sorry, I can't start early. Dustin Speed, I have some questions on the, is there a charity stream tomorrow? I need to find out about that. Hi Lars, hi Scott. Someone put together a Google Doc on all the changed parts and whether it was functional or just for improved printing. That was me. I'll cover that a little bit today. Hey Lars, Printer Prawn, Mr. Clown, DJ Natty, Stewart. Oh, I'm falling behind. Hello everybody. So, today we are going to cover the Voron 2.4 revision 2 upgrade using my green V2 here. I've been holding off on this for a long time. It's needed it. It needs the new front idlers. So we're going to be going through all of that, just kind of in a, as just to hang out and go through it. It's not necessarily going to be the most efficient way to do it, but hopefully we'll pick up some tips how to do that. So, hey Breckle from Holland, Wooden Spoke, and Magnus and Luke, and Jorg, Philip, and Dimitri, and Paul. Hi. So, where are we at? Everything okay? So the normal stuff. Do you guys hear the music? I actually hear it in my ear this time, so I'm hoping you guys do too, because it is kind of nice to have it on in my ear too. Hey, Dark Neutrino. Let's see, is the music there? Let's see. Can you explain all the updates that Rev 2 includes? Yeah, I'll go through a little bit. There is no music. Let me try turning it up just a little bit. So, no music. Okay, well, we will make that, fix that. I'll just do without. Let me, hold on just a moment. Let's see. Oh, and that's probably a little loud now. There's probably music now. So we will go with that. Low volume. Some music, there's music just too low. I gotta figure this out. I honestly, I mean, I've been busy with this. I need to get back into fixing the last little quirks in my setup. Hey, Steven, I have something for you that I've been waiting just for you. Hopefully the music is okay. I bought a new tool, and I thought of Steven when I opened it up and was playing with it, and I thought I'd save this for you. That there. Let's see. Can I get a good focus shot? There we go. The when we made the release live that day, I was looking on Amazon and noticed that they had the ES15 for same day delivery, and I thought I'd give myself a little reward for along with the rest of the team, of course, but I figured I'd buy it, and it is pretty neat. So so this is the ES15. I bought it just off Amazon USA, and I've been playing with it. It's mostly been a desk fidget toy, but we're going to use it today. and see how I like it. So, Apex Peppers. I am not calling Steven a tool. That would be rude. Hey, Marcus. Yeah. Killer Prince and Nathan. So, let's go over what this is. So, as most of you probably know, we released the Voron team released the second revision to the Voron 2 parts, and it's a revision. It's not a major release. So the scope of that scope creep was something that we definitely worked on keeping under control. So it's meant to be quality of life improvements, printability improvements, and a big part of it was bringing some of the components in line with Trident, and that the big one there is the MGN 12X setup. So, hey Sanity. So the page is all updated. The configurator is updated. I think this is the most accurate the bomb has been. I spent a lot of time. Other people on the team spent a lot of time checking it over and helping to decide on parts. But lots of time in the CAD to get a proper count on fasteners. So it should be pretty good. This is the Voron design webpage. You go to printers and Voron 2. The CAD and STLs and manual links take us to the GitHub. And I want to talk a little bit about our GitHub. GitHub, most people come here and they look for the release, right? So if you come over here, we have generated a new release with the parts, and this has release notes. What we've written is what has changed, and you can download a package down here of all the pieces and parts. As little things get found and stuff gets updates, it doesn't necessarily get pulled into the release. So whenever you're coming out here to GitHub, it's a good idea to come back to the code tab and look for when things were last updated. For instance, the manual has received a minor, very minor, not critical, but very minor typo type corrections since even the release. So you can go here to manual and download that directly and get the very latest. So we're not going to follow. I mean, this is a rebuild, so the manual is going to be of limited use for today's, but I do have it up here just as a view on it. See, the version here is 2.24, and I think we released a few days before that. So the background picture of the 2.4 has been taken, and it will get updated. So, and Chris had no issues with my dual MGN 9X, and that's an absolutely good point. If you have a well working printer, there's no reason to upgrade any of this. It's all very quality of life, but a lot of us like to change things just because they can be changed, right? But Dunnar has spent a ton of time on the manual. Many in the team have spent a lot of time, and many in the community have spent a lot of time proofing this and helping to make this as good as the best assembly manual we've released so far. So I had the same thing, Sanity, on the difficulties clicking on the buttons. I'm not sure what's going on there. It should accept a click on the text or the button, and that's a little hit and miss. I agree. Frank, you're mentioning like Tom, you have a single MGN 9. This printer that we're going to upgrade today, I was running a single MGN 9 with very, very good success. But we will be converting it MGN12, not because it's not working, but because I want to show you guys the process. So if you've downloaded the whole package, then I suggest going back and just look at the dates when things were last changed, and then make a determination, because if you keep going down in here, like the manual was updated 2 days ago, there isn't anything else that was updated. I don't think there's anything else that's been updated, but there's about to be. And it's super, I mean, it's not even an actual change. I'm going to change the name of one of the files because it's a little confusing right now. But so assembly manual, we're not going to go through the whole thing again. And then earlier in the chat, someone mentioned a list of changes, and that came up later. Someone in the V2 questions forum asked what changed, and I thought that was a very reasonable request. So I very quickly just downloaded a list of all the STLs in the printer entirely and created this little Google sheet. I don't know if you go to the Voron 2 questions channel in the Discord, it's the second or whatever pin. But this is super high level. I didn't go down part by part, but anything yellow or orangish here there's some sort of functional change to it, or it's new brought over from Trident. Like all these DIN clips end up being labeled yellow because they weren't in the V2 release before. The exhaust fan grill is new. But the filter housing and the access cover, it's not really, there's 2 heat sets there to hold the cover on instead, so it's really just a printability thing that's in teal here. So if you go through here by folder, because I just did a output of a directory list and edited in the sheet, anything that's just this light gray didn't change at all. It's a decent number of parts that were touched, but most of them were printability changes. Derek, $10. Steve, I don't understand what cross bridge is. Could you please open 2 STLs of the same part to explain the difference? Yes, let's do that. So I learned about this cross bridge method from examining Prusa Mark III parts, and I thought I liked it, and I've used it for a long time, and we've been working towards converting some areas on the printers to this. So let me open up a couple of files here. Let's go to the release, because I don't have any of these actually on my computer, but let's go to I think the gantry, and we're going to grab 2 of the same parts. So we're going to go to the x-axis and the xy joints, and I'm going to grab right lower, I think. Actually, yeah, this will work. So let's download this file. And now we're going to go back, and we're going to go to, can I get the previous release right here? That's a PR. How do I go to the history? I know just enough about GitHub to be able to throw things out there sometimes. Hey, John. Hey, Delvin. Get to the history. In the history, where's the history button? I know there's a history. I'm just not familiar enough with the, can I just go into, let's go to the file where we just were. Oh, there we go, history. And folder. Oh, I know what's going on. I think I have to go to the here, and can I get to the history here? Because I restructured the folders. Where else would this be? Go to the file again. This is pre commits. Jeff Lowell, $4.99. Just wanted to say thanks to you and your R3D for all your help and inspiration related to building a Voron 2.4. You're welcome, and thank you. There we go. And the commits. And all the commits I worked on over the past couple of weeks. The problem is the file has been moved into a different directory. I changed the directory structure, so I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar enough with this to just go through. Browse the, here, let's go here. There we go. I can fumble my way through. We're gonna grab that same file in this older version of the, and that was, I think it was X right lower. Hey TC from Romania. Yep, this is perfect. We got it. So this will be a good example. Hey Christopher Swanson. Let's open these in Prusa Slicer. We have both the same file. Arrange them. Now let's see if we can get a look here before we slice it. So if you notice on these build surface facing countersunk holes, previously we were using a chamfer, which is a 45-degree surface, which we should see that a little better when I do a slice and look at it layer by layer. But you can kind of see that as a chamfer, which creates a 45-degree surface, which our printers can print. On the cross bridge method, let's see if I can scroll in. It is, you can see here, straight bridging separated by layer height. So let's slice and see what that looks like. And we're gonna just go from the top and bring this down to those surfaces. So we're gonna come down here and we're gonna look at, sorry about this, we're gonna look at what these look like as we build the part. So if we work our way up at the first, you see those bridges? That first bridge is on one layer. And then the second bridge immediately after that. First bridge, second bridge, and then that makes this circle have much better support along there. Whereas the old part here, if you see, it just builds up at a 45-degree angle. Let's see if we can see a look at it from here. So we're coming down your bridge, and then a second bridge, and then that little curved bridge doesn't really matter. It's fine. So building this in CAD, you can do it a couple of ways. You can create a object that you do some Boolean operation on, place it there, and then take away the object. Or I create a sketch on this flat surface and then just draw lines and then extrudes. So I always do the this part extrudes 0.4 millimeters, and then these ends extrude 0.2 millimeters, and that ends up creating the bridge. I think that was a worthy sidetrack here. I hope some people's got something out of that. I hope it came across well. So that is the R2 in a nutshell. So we are going to upgrade this printer to that. Nathan, I do, because it doesn't take long. I just do a bunch of little sketches and extrudes and move along. You don't have to, most of these are on the same plane. So all three of those holes on the bottom are all on the same plane. So you can create one sketch and do all that in one operation rather than having to do a sketch per hole. So it's not too bad. It wasn't a big effort. So this printer I've been holding off on doing this upgrade for, and it's continued to print okay, but let's see if we can get a shot of my poor belts. Nope. See all that belt debris? And this is what the front idlers, I think. Oh, I had a good focus there for a second. The camera has a hard time focusing, but you can see this. All this. And the idea is that what's happening is, let's see if I can get a better shot here. The belt is along the top half of this tensioner, but we're pulling tension from the center. So this is clocking this way to where this is moving this way and that's moving that way. And that's causing the belt to ride up on the bearing stack in there. So the new setup moves this tensioning screw in line with the idlers to help prevent that. And it's really the minimum changes required to achieve that goal. So it's not a redesign of the whole idler, saving that for a major revision. Hi, John. When will you be doing memberships? As soon as I get past some blocks in like what I want to call tiers, what I want to put as prices, that kind of stuff. If anybody has any suggestions on the tier names, I could put supporter and supporter, but and yes, absolutely, Mr. Clown. I wouldn't even think of swapping out those idlers unless I had new belts to go in their place. So speaking of belts, part of this, so I placed an order from Fabrico, and I bought the kinematic mount set for one of the V2s at some point, and some backers, things I wanted to try, and a Kirigami bed for a V0 upgrade. And Hector was very nice, and he had some belts from other, like, unused belts from kits, so he sent some of those to me. And also, we're going to be using for the MGN12 rail, we're going to use a Honey Badger MGN12. And this thing is smooth, and it's definitely tight. So we'll see how it goes. Hey, Brian Murphy. Nice, there must be something with Charlie. Charlie Cuddler. I actually hadn't gone down that path of ideas. Having to do with Charlie, so I kind of like that. You might have helped me get past my block there. So I have a friend who has done a really good job on a couple of logos that I want to integrate into the channel as well. I just haven't had time. I'm gonna get to it though. So let's start by just taking all of the panels off of this, because we're gonna need to we are going to need to have full access to this. And I am pulling those off, even though they are hammerheads. So, yeah, I'll fix that. These back in because I did not really mean to pull those out altogether. Hi Mark, joining late today. Hope all is well. Did you take a look at the Sure Pet feeder for Charlie? It's still on my tabs. I haven't had a chance to look at it. Let's see, where can I put these to where I can tell where they came from? Put these to either side, and then I know which side they went on. Went with Rama Llama idlers myself. Used my lathe to make the pins, ensuring the bearings had zero slop. Nice. When Charlie lets him. Yeah. What else do we got here? My first time to catch you live. Keep seeing your name in near the streams. Hey, Dougal. Welcome. So I have some idea of how I want to do this, but I don't know. I'm going to kind of wing it. Let's hope it all works out. What do we got here? What am I missing? I'm going to have to remember some of those suggestions. Hi, Vincewell. Why are you not coming out? Come on. There we go. Heard Tracy's idea. Google probably activated someone's Google Home. Dougal. Hi, Evil. There we go. Okay, that's those. Hi, John. I never put like Loctite on these or anything to make them easier. Keep meaning to do that at some point. Come on. There we go. Watching. We have 200 in here already? Wow. One for here. So this should be, I mean, obviously plans always change, but these last couple of odd weekends, we should be back to a normal schedule next week. There will never be, no time for analysis paralysis. Just set it up and figure it out as you go along. The problem is that for a given tier, if you have to have your everything set, because if you change it, then it cancels the membership for anybody in that tier. If I read the little big warnings that YouTube puts up, so that's kind of made me a little gun shy. Oh, what we got? Constantine, are those TPU feet? Yes, they are. I designed some custom feet for this ages ago. So I built this printer little over a year ago. It's self-sourced using, it's actually using a Duet Wi-Fi and DuX combo for the controller, because I had those from my previous fun with a Hypercube Evolution I was going to build. So I finally found a use for it, and I put the Duet Wi-Fi setup in here. And so as part of that, I really didn't want to use, I went away from using the compressor feet. So I modeled up some guitar or some TPU feet, and we'll get a closer look at those when I turn it over. The panels are all 3mm ABS panels. I'm pretty sure Nimgria cut them for me. A little, been on there a while. There we go. Check. When using that ES126 with Voron parts, do you give them an extra manual tighten after the motor stalls? I don't know. This is an ES15, so it does have the impact feature. So when it stalls, it impacts a few iterations. So, and this is the first I've actually used it for. This is the first use. So I don't know what it's going to, how it's going to fit into my workflow. I just have heard good things about them, so I wanted to try it. Does TPU offer any vibration damping advantage over bog standard rubber feet? I don't think so. Okay, pull the back panel off. I don't actually use this with filter media or even a fan. Hey, Hector. Oh, pieces falling all over. Pretty Boy FPV, which probe do you think is better, the Clicky or the Euclid? I know you have both. Which one has better features and offers better results? I'm not going to give a recommendation on which one I like better, because I like both of them. I'm using both. I think and I haven't, to be fair, I haven't tried the latest Euclid macro setups, default macros or suggested macros. So in my previous experience, I thought the clicky macros were easier to set up, but that's not something I really want to draw a conclusion on without having tried also the latest Euclid stuff. I think I prefer the Euclid hardware because it's the no need for gluing magnets in place, but I haven't seen any failures on my clicky stuff either. But all of them I've only been using for about 3 months. So I know that's a non-answer, but I don't want my channel to be about reviews. I want it to be about building stuff and just hanging out. So I don't mind giving an opinion on something, but I don't necessarily want to compare things, if you get where I'm trying to go there. I have actually, the guitar amplifier feet, I couldn't get any So I've actually printed some of those to be used test fitting and stuff. I have some that I bought for this build, but TPU seems to work okay for any of that. Add a chamber temp probe. I'm trying to think of where I'd mount it. The only, oh, a chamber temp probe. The only printers that don't have like the full head PCB with the chamber temperature sensor on it, I have that I've added my own chamber temp is the purple Trident. I set up the frame compensation on that, and I don't know if it's ideal, but I just put the chamber temperature sticking out the Y cable chain here. It seems to do okay. I don't know if it's good enough. It seems to be good enough. So have you got any offers to review some printers or parts? Yeah, I have I got one email from a broker, I think it is, for longer, I think it is. So do I want to, the whole thing is, do you want to review this 90% assembled printer? And my thought is, my channel is Steve Builds. And if it's already 90% built, there's not a lot of content for me. I told them if there's some kit out there that they end up that requires more attention and more build and stuff like that, then I could entertain that. But something that's an Ender clone, it doesn't interest me. I need to get some black TPU for feed. I really like the look of those squared off ones you modeled. And these are just the straight out of the CAD. I think I might have changed the counter bore here to whatever length screw I wanted to use, but those are just the same model that's in the CAD right now. You have 300 sets of feet. That's good. DJ Natty, the blue V2 from LDO does have a chamber temperature sensor on the toolhead PCB. Yeah, Brant, that's exactly where I want to go with that. I'll tell you about what I think about it in terms of that product, but I don't want to compare. And I know I'm drawing a fine line there, and you may even hear me do some sort of comparison, but that's not my goal. So this is the green extrusion here. I think is still my favorite of the LDO frame colors. I like the orange, but this is still my favorite. Hi, Mr. Jada D. Greetings from Norway. Oh boy, so where do we want to start with this? Guess I can pull the afterburner. We are not going to be, so we're not going to be doing a stealth burner and Clockwork 2 setup on this yet. I want to have a printer that doesn't have that setup. So when it does release final, I want to do a stream dedicated to building that. I did the preview stream back when it was first announced with the beta, assembling a beta unit. I don't want to cover it in detail again until it's released. So this will be the printer that we do that on. So for now, this is going to stay as an afterburner. Hi, Gadget Angel. Let's see. Actually, keep doing what you're doing. Stick to Voron. There are plenty of other YouTubers doing reviews. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily need to stick to Voron or want to stick to Voron. This is what I'm doing and what I'm interested in. but like I like the Prusa stuff. I've got a little bit of Prusa content going, and I may be on the dev team for Voron, but that doesn't mean I have to stick to it. I'll entertain whatever sounds fun to me to show you guys. Is the idea. So, let's get these all disconnected. See you, Steven. Is there a chance the linear rail end stops can be optional parts in the GitHub too? I'm using some old from like v2.2 end stops on this one. This back corner, because of the cable chain, the wire cover can hit, so there's some attention that needs to be done there. I guess there is a chance. Uh-oh, I got a bot. Hold on. Port. Did that go away? There we go. Thank you. Torx Fighter minion build. I'm debating on the a mini, one of the printers for ants builds. So we'll see. Did I pre-order an XL kit? I did not, but I kind of regret not doing it, because just getting in line and having time to make that decision. Since I didn't, there's no point in doing it now, because it's going to be who knows how long before I could actually get my hands on one. But the biggest reason I would want to get one of those is to see what they're doing, and I would buy the kit, of course. But even that, I think, is partially assembled, right? Gadget Angel, what PEI sheets do you recommend buy? The only PEI sheets I've bought relatively recently are CS Hide, and I haven't actually used them yet or put them on a flex sheet. I don't know what's out there, honestly. Have you looked into the VZBot project? I have seen a lot of his videos, and I like them. They're cool. I have not considered building. Doesn't mean that I wouldn't, but I want to see that 3D printed RC car. Yes, I want to too. I want to as well. What size is this green Voron 2.4? It is a 250. My favorite size. That's kind of nice. Yeah, we'll pull those through. I'd love to see an Ender conversion to switch wire. It's very popular and people would appreciate that, especially those that start with Voron and have an older Ender. I wouldn't be opposed to doing that, but I would need some significant prep work on which setup I'd prefer. Yeah, there's the afterburner module. Now this has a modification I did that I haven't published. If someone really wanted it and had the right parts to do it, I don't mind sending it, but it uses the Prusa MMU2 heat set insert, which is a little unique. So I don't know how useful it is if you don't have that exact heat set. I have several of them, so that's why I used it. So, Fabrico, Solid Fork is the most likely setup I would want to do. I have four 1 meter sticks of 1515 that I bought when Voron 0 first came out, and I didn't I ended up going with an LDO kit because they were very, very new at the time. And so I've been looking for a use for those. So a solid fork may be what they become. Simon S., is the CAD for the 2.4 build with ABS shrinkage in mind? Yeah, everything that we design, there's a lot of testing to make sure things fit, even with ABS shrinkage. And there are, when needed, it's not always needed, but when needed, there are accommodations for that. Enter to switch wire conversion. It's possible. It just takes a bit of prep, bit of extra prep. What plastic did I use for this build? This is all KV. No, it's not all KVP. It is KVP graphite ABS. The silver is either Novameka silver off of Amazon or Paramount silver. I don't remember which. I'd like to see that mod. Can you put the STL in your GitHub repo? I can. I need to do another round of putting stuff out there. I've got a list of things that I've been reminded could go. So just got done making changes to Trident idlers to match 2.4 R2, and those are done. I've had, if you've paid attention, the orange Trident has the offset idlers on it. Those have been done for as long as the 2.4 ones have been done. The intent is to do a release, a minor, extra minor release to Trident that'll include the offset idlers, the new side fan stuff, all the cross bridge stuff that isn't that's still the old chamfer setup on Trident. All that'll get ported over, and it'll be soon. I just have to sit down and do it. Any chance in the future to use M5 heat set inserts instead of nuts? I don't know. That's a good question. As of right now, it's not on the plate, but it's possible. I'll ever visit the I've seen the 3D printers for ants page, so it's too late there. There we go. Get these things out. Having a hard time keeping up. Are they complete rails? Where are we at? John, what do you mean, are they complete rails? I must have missed the context. What are the downsides of using ABS for the parts, maybe on long term? There aren't really any downsides to using ABS for the parts. Not designed with skilling, but added tolerance and adjustments to parts to make it fit together and work with ABS. Never justify a micron or solid fork myself. A V2 or 250 V2 is just so much more versatile. Yeah, it's really about it's really just about having another project to build. So as you see, I only have, there's no bottom rail. I was just using the a single MGN9, and there was no play in it. I had no problems with that. Any preference of Novamaker versus Paramount ABS? None at all, because I don't really pay attention to which one I printed it on, and I use the same profile. So for all I know, it may be the same thing. There is a very slight hue difference in color. The shade of silver is slightly different. Is there much quality difference printing ABS without enclosure? Yes. you will have a significant difference in your experience with ABS in an enclosure versus without. Mitchell H, that is a great question. Am I going to Murph this year? I bought a plane ticket. I reserved a hotel yesterday. So the plan is to go to Murph. I'm excited. I've wanted to go to that since I heard it existed. And I'm hoping everything works out and I don't have to cancel. But everything's reserved. I'll be there. I hope to see some of you there as well. Said you bought 4 sticks. Oh, 4 1 meter sticks of that. And then I was short, I think, when I added everything up. So I bought some short ones. Hector, $50 Solid Fork Fund. Thank you. I appreciate that. Just bought an Ender 6. Was that a mistake? I have no idea. I can't keep up with what Ender is what. What Ender 6 is? What is that? One of the cube ones? Is it a bed flinger? Okay, I am using the Hall effect end stop on this, and so the magnet is here. I am going to, just so I don't have to think about it later, I'm going to mark the side that's going to face out, and I might as well use a green marker for the green printer. I'm just going to push that out. Set it over there. Can't wait for you. It'll be your 3rd time to Murph. It's just so cool that it's just this fairground free entry, and it's one of the biggest events that we have. Dustin, I have driven to Illinois 3 times in my life, but the last time was like 20 years ago. That's a long drive from here. Okay, belts are here. I think we can I'm just gonna pull them out. We'll get a better look at this. 2.5 hours away. Look at that. I've been printing on it. It's been doing okay, but I'm glad to finally be able to fix it. Oh, John, I have their Maker Beam. They're extrusions. That's what I was talking about, the 1515 extrusions. Hey, 3D Experiments. It went a long time before I noticed that belt wear. So I'm going to keep these handy because I'm going to use them to mark the length for the new belts. I'll just tuck those back there. I have no idea how many hours on it. I got all this. This would be a good opportunity to clean out the printer. Oh, where do we want to go with this? I'm not going to rebelt it. I'm going to save rebelting the XY until we do the Z belts. And I'm not going to replace the Z belts. I'm going to leave them. They're doing just fine. Any wear on the left? I know mine only wears on the right. So on this printer, it only wore on the right. On one of my other printers, the left wore, but I think typically it's the right belt. And I'm not quite sure why, but I don't know. These are going to be filled with belt powder. So Lucian, the idea is, maybe we can see this here. The belt enters on the upper half of this idler. The tension screw is in the center of this. Let's see if I can get that a little bit. So with the belt pulling at the top, it's cocking this tensioner over and allowing that idler pulley stack to tilt and pulling the belt up on it and wearing on the flange of the bearing stack. That's the idea. So the new stuff puts that tensioner bolt in line with the center of the bearing stack to try to combat that. What do I got? All of this is going to have to come out, at least because that X thing. So this will probably be a couple of streams. I'm not even going to try to get this done in one stream. And I'll probably go 3-ish hours today. That's the goal. Got to prepare for this afternoon. Personally, rather get a 2 trees SP5, but Ender 6 should be good. Yeah, I just don't have any experience with any of them. I have an Ender 3 Pro, which could be potential. That would be the subject of any switch wire conversion fun. And I started with a CR10, but it's in pieces in a cabinet, so I just don't have room for it. Okay, I think that can just sit there. So I think the plan, the efficient way to do this is just going to start on a corner and just work my way around, replacing Z drive modules and idlers where appropriate. I might be. That's the rumor. There are also some speed benches being printed on those. Okay. Some of this stuff out of the way. One thing about this printer, it does have a mod. It's not fully stock. I am running the MG or the GE5C Z bearings here, the spherical bearings, and I'm going to leave that. So, give us a little extra room here. But the basic idea of this swap is going to be the same, regardless of if you're using the normal setup or some mod. Let's get a look at these TPU feet, I think. Bits and pieces that are going to fall around. So yeah, I just modeled a quick little foot here. It has a screw going into the corner just to help keep it from rotating, and then the same center mounting hole. So, get a look here. Nothing really special. A little bit of a angle on them to try to make it look good. Thoughts on LE GE5Cs versus the IGUS EGLM? I'm using both. Long term, I'm not sure. I haven't been using them long enough to tell if the plastic ones will be a problem or not. But I'm on my Tridents, I'm using one of each on the Tridents. This is using the LE GE5Cs. One trick that I used in the previous version for these accent pieces to keep the nut from falling through, I staked them with the soldering iron. Just a little bit of melted solder to force them to stay in place. That's no longer needed, and I'll show you in more detail. I'm just going to pry these out of here, I think. Pull them out. There we go. I've tried both, and I guess seems to transfer vibrations better, getting better ADXL results. That's interesting. Yeah, all these, the whole Z module changes a bit. I'll show you details on that here in a minute. I'm going to bring out the long boy. Driver for take the skirt pieces off. And we're going to take the bottom panel off. Yes, I run a bottom panel, and everybody should. Crap. I've got a printer preheating. I forgot to start a print. I had a part I forgot to print. It's not critical for today, but I might get that started real quick. I'll just print here on the Trident next to me. Maybe I missed it in the changelog, but why are you going to replace the Z drives? I'll show you. Give me a moment. The basic idea is just for better fitment of the guitar amplifier feet. So on Trident, we went to these, I think they're 38 millimeter diameter, 19 millimeter high, or 1.5 inch by 3/4 inch guitar amplifier feet. And if you bolt these onto so if this goes here and this bolts in the center, you got some overhang here and here. So on the new feet, it moves it back, and it actually moves it back into the exact same relative position as on Trident, which means the bottom panel is now the exact same as Trident. But the other side effect of that is this bolt hole here moves over far enough to where it can no longer hit the 80 tooth pulley. It goes up the side here, which is really nice from a user assembly point of view. And then I have a feature in there that captures the nut so it can't fall through. Plug the stepper. I need to unplug my ADXL panel switch here. The bottom panel is required. I think it should be a serial number requirement. Bottom panel installed. I don't think that'd be a very popular requirement. There's another option, Misumi RBPB5. Now I remember looking at it for Trident Misumi alternatives. I didn't think they were the exact same dimensions. Are they the same, or are they just close enough that you'd have to modify to make them work? Lucian, this is absolutely just a quality of life change. There's no functional change to the Z drive modules. It's only to make the guitar amplifier feet fit better. So let me check something here real quick. What am I missing? Sorry, I got a notification. See what it was. Okay. Make the same feet for these are the exact same feet. This is from the same part number, same. These are. There are many brands, many very close styles. I got this off Amazon. They got a slight taper to them instead of being squared off, and they're a little different around here, but functionally the same. Be able to get a serial with EVA as a tool head. I don't see why not, as long as your wires are managed and it's basically a Voron. We're not that picky. Pull the stepper off. Okay, need to keep that and that. I can just stay together. Eating sushi and watching me. Just gonna have to take it to flip my tread. Okay, we have this apart. I think since this is on its side, the gantry's gonna kind of stay in its spot. So I'm gonna just sneak up in here and start pulling. Actually, the first thing I'm gonna do, and I don't know if you're gonna get a great view of it, but all I'm gonna do is loosen the, actually loosen and remove the Z idler. I'm just gonna pull that all the way off. See here? There's the Z idler assembly, and that's just gonna hang there. And get up in here. You need RTV for the Voron 0.1 bed. It's not a requirement, it's recommendation. I need more room on these, so move the gantry up a little more. There we go. What brand and colors did you use for your printed parts? So this is KVP graphite for the dark gray. And let's see if I can get a view of this. This is the KVP graphite for the dark gray, and then Paramount or Nova Maker silver. There we go. Oops, wrong button. So the GE5C mount uses a M3 here holding the belt in place. So this little piece can just come right off. And I'm just gonna leave it because the belt is kind of stuck to that. I'm just gonna leave that. I'm not gonna pull it. I'm not gonna pull it off the belt. Brandon, thanks for the info. That sounds annoying to deal with. Oh, that's to Jeremy. If I had used vintage feeder twin feed, I bet the printer would have great tone. Only if it's vintage, right? Okay, these are coming off. This can separate from there. I got the belt. The belt can come all the way off now. I think I'm gonna have to. Okay, so that Z belt is off. Let's pull the, oops, wrong wrench. Walker & Parker designed them and making them under lightweight labware name. Fabrico's sold out. What are we talking about? The backers or the kinematic bed mounts? Okay. I'm going to leave that there because that seems to work okay. So I have the old module here, and we're going to take it apart so we can build a new one with these pieces. That is the wrong one. There's this one. And I have the heat sets inserted on most pieces. I missed a couple. Martin, I'm not going to renew the Z belts on this. I've had the printer for a year. They seem okay. There's no, I don't think there's any problem. I'm not going to replace the Z belts on this one. Kinematic bed mounts. I was wondering if anyone had experience with them and were worth it. So I'm running the Mandela Roseworks ones on the orange Trident. Everything's printing fine. I'm running the Whopping ones on the purple Trident. Everything's printing fine. I think Whopping did a excellent write-up on their GitHub on whether you should do them or not. And they worded it better than I could, and I couldn't. It's kind of it is correct. It is technically a correct mod. It works. It functions. Whether you will see a difference or not is the question. Hey, Jason. Did he say hi, Jason? Busy Saturday here with 2 kids baseball game. Ooh, season opening ceremony. I remember those days. We did many years of Little League. In 1999. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. So let's get this apart. I'm crowding myself in bits and pieces here, but screwdriver's pretty nice. Okay, let's move some things out of the way. That's another one of those I'm not going to make a comparison recommendation on. I think they both function, and I'm happy with the install on both. Okay, this thing's being stubborn. It's a little tight. Hey, Nericu. Hey, Nericu, are you going to Murph? There we go. This is interestingly tight. Okay. I do not need any other piece of that. And we're gonna put that over there. This is so these are the Powge, P-O-W-G-E, vendor machined pulleys. I just thought they were cool. So I built both of my self-sourced V2s. I use these in. So I'm just gonna leave this all assembled and just transfer it over to the new piece. Making sure I don't forget that belt. There we go. All of these. Are the bed heaters worth it that don't need RTV? What bed heaters? So none of them require RTV if they have a adhesive layer. The recommendation is to seal the edges with RTV. on any of them. I'd like to build a trident, but there's little space left in my room. You make more rooms then. Solid Fork 1 would be great. Will there ever be a kit for such a printer? I don't know. There we go. Here, let's see if you can hear the impact function on this and see it. Did it? I don't know if the sound deadening is killing that, but it has a little bit of a... Hi, Thomas. You mentioned what the difference was between the old and new one. So, yes, let's go with that. Let's see. So this is the old one. And like I said, this, for reference, the guitar amplifier foot here. Okay, square hole, the profile of the side. So on the new one, you see the profile of the side got wider. And on the bottom, there's a feature here to hold that nut in place. And now the guitar amplifier foot sits on it roughly like that. And this is one of the parts I forgot heat sets on, so let me put those on. Ugga dugga dugga. I think there's 3 duggas on this one. I think it triple duggas. Fabrico had bed heaters that are edge to edge and require no RTV. Okay. I haven't RTV'd any of my installs. I spend some significant amount of time using pressure to apply them, and I do weigh them down for a couple of days when I've had to assemble them myself. Music is killing the sound. It's not that impressive. Let me just insert these because I forgot. And this is super riveting for you guys, I know, because it's out of camera view, but I didn't want to move the other camera, although I might have to anyway. There we go. Where am I able to find a good base config for Super Slicer? I think you can start with a Prusa Slicer config, right? If you can find that. Okay, so this is going to go here. Wish the 2 triangles and the Z blocks were removed. The print I'm using to print my parts isn't very good in bridging. So I didn't do this on these prints. Marnell 1970. You can see the bridge angle that it used. In Prusa Slicer, there is a bridge angle setting, and you would be better off if you set it and you look at your slice preview to see where it is. But if you can set it to where it does the shortest possible bridge across those, and it turns out pretty good. I'm gonna take that and this is probably really loud with the lav mic, huh? Okay. Woo. take a nut and this. So this goes here. The nut can go in here now. And then that's not going to go anywhere. I don't know if I can get a great shot of this. Actually, let's do this. If I took an extra long screw and just thread it in there, it is not, look at that. It is missing the pulley. So that was the functional change here from just from a new assembly point of view. So. Okay, let's put this on here. Now, the stack up of parts here do require you to remove the feet in order to get to this bolt, but that was kind of unavoidable in this setup. I'm going to make sure this is flush. Everything's flush before tightening this down. And now the foot could go on there. Try like that. Okay, let's get the belt back on. Feed this back the way it came, I think. Bend this. There we go. And then back the other way. I don't know if I can. May have to pull the belt cover on the other side. Give this one more try. Hi, Ed. I'm going to put a screwdriver in here and maybe guide it. There we are. Start. Let's see if we can get a good angle here. Start by putting this back. Now, I have had luck being careful and setting things up. I do cut my Z-belts flush. I just like the look. So, but that requires that you set it all up with the, maybe that's the wrong screw there. It requires that you set that up with the correct tension on your idlers to begin with. Oh, I don't want to do that yet. I don't want to do that yet. I got to replace these. I got to replace replace these. So let's loosen this. And pop this off. Old idler. Let's see. It's only some of it. Is it possible to use a GTR 1.0 in a Voron build? Is that a very difficult project? A GTR, the Big Tree Tech GTR is a clipper supported board, so yes, you can use a GTR in a Voron build. Okay, let me try you guys a little better. There we go. Maybe a little better view of what I'm doing. Okay, so these all get replaced, but you can see all that belt residue in there. Speedy, no, we're building a spec build, mostly. Here's the top. So the tensioner screw is offset, which means it splits in a different way. Those get lined up, and then this part goes to the rear with the heat set in the right spot. Okay, I am going to take each of these bearings and just kind of wipe them off of any of the residue, belt residue. Yeah, see, there's quite a bit of residue here. Get a little more aggressive scrape on this, just to make sure I don't. Yeah, because it's built up. It's built up on that edge. So these bearings are fine. They don't have. I mean, it's a year-old printer, but I don't want something for the new belts to catch on. So I'm just gonna. And I don't have bearings handy that aren't otherwise committed to other things. So I'm just gonna scrape this residue off. You can see how much I've gotten out of there. Do you think a duet Wi-Fi on a Voron 0.1 is worth it? I do not think it's worth it if you're going out to specifically buy a duet Wi-Fi so you can run it on a V0. I think if you already have it, and that's why I'm using a duet Wi-Fi with the do export here. I already had it. Okay, so that is good. This one shouldn't have as much because this would have been the bottom piece, and that is true. There isn't anything there to scrape off. Okay. Start this, the shim, bearing, shim. That is going to go there. It's going to go there. That's going to go there. And then I'm going to leave this loose because it helps to be able to split this to get it over the extrusion here. Okay. Now take this and the bolt. Put this on. Okay. I did it backwards. I grabbed the wrong one. I thought I was grabbing the right one. The important part missed it. This part has two M5 5mm holes. The bottom has an M3 and an M5. So I grabbed the wrong set. So let that be a lesson. I did that on purpose. Sorry if this has been answered previously. I just finished my 2.4 R1, was literally going to submit my serial request the day R2 dropped. Is there a difference in serial between R1 and R2? Not at all. Not at all. Go ahead, do your serial. Get your serial. It's a lot of fun having a serial. You want a serial if you're involved in the community. Grab the other parts. There. Another bot. I have no bot helpers today. Because I picked a weird day. Report. I think I got the right one. If I accidentally ban someone, let me know. The bot should be gone. It's a teaching lesson. Okay, back to here. This is still so that's the incorrect one. Let me visualize this. Yeah, everything's correct this time. See if I can do it well again. That's there. This is gonna go from the bottom. Is there a reason to have the idler parts split at the tensioner screw hole? Printability. It's going to print a little better. I don't know that you would see a benefit. I know people speak about it splitting there, and that's just falls into the category of outside the scope of fixing, trying to keep things at minimal changes. But aside from that hole prints better when it's split there. I can take. We've only had 2 bots today. I got it. Okay, keep this loose, and we'll take 2. Go take 2. There we go. And where did that screw go that I keep losing? Sure that is lined up. That. Oh, where are we at? Okay, there we are. Can you use these new idler assemblies on Trident? No. However, it's already done. I just need to put the pull request out there and a few other changes that I'm going to port back over to Trident. So now I want to make sure that I'm routing this belt through the access hole there, which is the difference on the Trident versus this pathway for the belt right here. So there is a unique part, just to say it again, there is a unique part for Trident for these idlers, and the work is already done. I just need to do a few other things that are porting changes over back to Trident, and then it'll be available. So I'm running this through, and then I'm gonna take the cap, and remember, the notch in this goes towards the panel. So this is gonna go like this with that notch there. And that notch is so if you don't cut your belts flush, you have room to tuck this over and zip tie it out of the way and still have belt clearance or panel clearance. But since we're just gonna go right like that. Put these down. Gadget Angel, the gantries are the X. Here, let's move this here. The X and the XY joints, they are identical. The rear stepper mounts and the front idlers are functionally the same, but they have differences specific to the motion system. And Joseph Hugh, it won't be Trident R2 because it'll be the first revision. It'll be Trident R1. And just put this up here and capture. There we go. And that's in there. Now I'm not tensioning that. I'll do that all when they're all done. Why does this Z-block not have a top section? Why does this Z-block not have a top section? Because this is the MG5C, GE5C modification. It's not stock. Hey, BBs. See you, Nathan. Thanks for being here. Okay, let's put a foot on. I think I need to grab a different bolt though. I need to grab a 16mm bolt. Since that nut is captured in there, this is easy peasy. Belt on there, get my stepper back in place. The only drawback to these Houge pulleys is they don't have a lip to kind of help guide you, but almost lost it. Okay. There we go. Everything's lined up. You gain Z. I think technically you could. No, I don't. You don't, because the Z is going to be dictated by the height of your bed over the deck, and you're not actually gaining anything. I have seen some people make the bed rails flush then with the deck, and this allows you to do that. But in the spec bed configuration, I don't think you'd gain any Z. Yeah, no problem, Gadget Angel. I have no problems with explaining that. Okay, let's see if I can get it. There we go. Now, if you remember from the LDO kit build, I think it's the last time I covered this, the thing to watch out for, let's go go just a little bit higher here. The thing to watch out for when you're tensioning your this Z belt is to make sure that it doesn't shift the Z drive module past the end of the frame. I've seen reports that people say that the Z belt rubs on the frame, and it can't. If everything is lined up right, no matter what the CAD says, the belts in CAD are not perfectly modeled, but if everything is assembled properly, then you should have about 1 millimeter of space between the frame and the belt. And I think the biggest cause of reports of them rubbing is this Z drive module shifting up, which shifts the whole thing closer to the frame. So when we tension this, and I want to make sure that this stays flush with the frame. Gotta make sure all that is nice and straight. Just kind of tighten these down. Hi, Roy. And where did my wire go? Oh, here it is. Plug in the Z drive back in. I see. Sorry, I'm late. Okay, where did you screwdriver at? I was looking at for. Thank you for doing these shows. I bought. So if you're talking about this is the ES15. I guess it just came out. I bought this on Amazon US. If you just search for ES15, this is the first time I've used it though, so I'm just getting used to it. The front, the grill here. This guy can go back on, right? I'm not missing anything. How much slack do you have in your Z-belt loops for the motor? None? None? They're tensioned. More power than the ES126? I don't know. I heard that it actually has less, but it's supposed to work better. I'm not sure. That in and tighten this a little bit. We'll have to take this out again, but it keeps it from getting lost. There we go. I have no idea how it compares in power. What I'm going to do next, probably the rear one since we have it on this side. Is that duet temperature board compatible with Clipper? Yes. If you're talking about the PT100, I'm running a PT100 in here. This is the PT100 amplifier for duet. Plugs in, it's working. I am not using RepRap firmware. This is Clipper. So I'm running duet hardware, but I'm running Clipper on it. Turn off my heater. It's getting a little warm in here. I have found on both of my 2.4s after about 50 hours of printing, my motor loops are a bit slack with the printed tensioner. I haven't found that. And this is, I mean, this should, I haven't installed new parts here that would affect the belt tension. And the tension seems fine. I'm trying to figure out what is most efficient, because if I do this back corner, then I'm doing the A drive as well, which I guess there's no reason not to. Got to do it at some point. You gotta. look here. Yeah, I like to make my wiring neat without trying not to go overboard. Once again, I staked the nut in there just with the soldering iron and just pushed some plastic over. Just gonna thread something in and just pull it right out. That will be this one. Check for ABS cracking or splitting. Yeah. Do you think I should install the Duet Wi-Fi board I already have in the V0 or get an SKR Mini E3? The Duet Wi-Fi is a large board. If you've got room and you have some idea of the process for using a Duet in a Voron, then go for it. There's no reason not to. But this screwdriver is very quiet. I was impressed with how quiet it was. It is. Graveyard of parts over there starting. What part is on top of the PSU? So are you talking about this? This is a Meanwell DIN rail mounted power supply. It's a 5-volt power supply I use to run the Pi. It was a different part out there. I figured I'd buy one and try it, and it works well, and it's nice. It doesn't really save any room beyond the RS-25 though. This. Seems like the belt loop itself stretched. What are they? Gates belts? Maybe. This rear piece, so the rear skirt, we're gonna swap, and we're gonna find out if I'm gonna have to redo my mains wiring or not, or if things are long enough. So we're just gonna pull this part all the way off. And we have a new piece because we're gonna replace all of this. Up here. Pull this off up here. Yeah, that was just pulling the idler. I should have done that first, but that's okay. This out of the way. Undo that. I'm just going to leave that belt on there, stuck to it. You exchange the power plug skirt to the left side one. I am going to, yes. I'm going to get all that new goodness set up. That out of the way. Rotate this around so we can get a view. This is not useful. that. We're going to replace this stepper mount because I want to go to the easier mounting for the cable chain, and also this is a slightly different cable chain, so I just want to sanity check that everything fits. So zip tie. There's another bot. I got the bot port. Okay. Would running dual SKR Pico boards be a good option for a Voron 2.4? It would be interesting. You can fit that into a pretty small build. Go. Let's pull. Oh, I lost it. Oh well. This is the one that I want there. I kind of want to keep that together. There we go. There he is from Romania. Hello. I changed from the Octopus controller, powering the Pi from the controller, which gave me room to shove a RF power control module. Okay. Take this module off. You will keep running the duet. Yes. This will continue to be a duet. There's no real reason other than it's all set up and wired. I'm currently sourcing parts from my 2.4. Already got a PIF kit. Did not get rails yet. Do you think I should wait for R2 to fully release and then continue sourcing? R2 is fully released. R2 is out there. If you go to the GitHub, it's the latest release. Rock is life. Yes, this is a 250. Ew, that's squeaky. Sorry, I don't know if that's coming through. But that bolt is squeaking its way out. R2 is fully released. Released earlier this week, I think Wednesday. Find the right pieces for this. That's correct. And that's correct. Using two BTT Pico 1 boards would cost $72, while the Octopus board costs $57. $57 with drivers? That's a question, Gadget. Because the Octopus board you need individual drivers for, and the Pico boards have 2209s built in. Steve, what are your thoughts on some popular mods like the Pins mods, the GE5C Z mount, and Rama's Idlers? Looking to build my first Voron and not sure which mods are worth it. My recommendation is always to build stock. When you build stock and you ask for help, it's a lot easier you get a wider breadth of people who can help, because not everybody's familiar with all the mods. My thoughts on the mods is I'm running the GE5C mod on this. I think it works well. I'm also running the spec setup on my other 2.4s without any problems either. The Pins mod, I don't think you're going to see any significant improvement from it. I thought about running that at one point, but I never had time. And the Rama's Idlers, I'm not really familiar with, so I don't know on that one. Let's changes R2, it would only do the X gantry change and leave the rest as is. I would do the X gantry and the front idlers. If you have an existing V2, that is. Did they update the BOM? Yes, the BOM has been updated. The sourcing guide is lagging behind. Sourcing guide takes a little bit of extra effort. So the BOM is the most accurate parts. See you, Evil. Thanks for being here. Okay, this goes here, so I'm gonna pull this straight off and straight onto the new piece. And this. Okay. It gives me more room, and you will need to spend $25 more on the 2209s. $25 for 7 2209s? That seems really, really good price. Make sure I don't cross thread this. There we go. Can you show a printed part across the lines from an angle with some lights? Sure, but you're gonna see what you're looking for. If you're looking for, quote, issue 6, you're gonna see it. I don't have a problem with showing it, but I don't know what the benefit is there. So, let's see. Let's see if I can make this look really bad. Let's see what we can do. Any part. Maybe I'm just not in the right spot. Here, there we go. Let's see what we can. That's about as much as I can get off of this camera. So, Scott the Octopus also doesn't need the 5-volt supply. That's true. Hey, David. So this happens to be the ES15, the successor to the ES126. No, I get it, Tunke. I'm just the whole thing. Any part is you're going to see artifacts on any FDM print when you hold it in the right light. That's just the nature of the thing. Where am I? This can go here. This one, I happen to remember the heat sets. This can go right here. Everything is lined up. I think that ES15 just came out. I don't know how long ago, but it hasn't been out there for long. Okay, let's go back, switch gears back to this. Take this whole setup apart. I'm gonna unplug. I have a plug here for the stepper. Let's see where we're going. Where is my other screwdriver? Looking for my ball end 2mm. I don't see it, so I'll just try this. There we go. I think that's correct. I can't actually see what I'm doing here. One. Oh, might be able to get a little bit of a view on this one. There we go. Same complaint when I buy new stuff for the printers. Yeah. No problem if you watch Steve's last wiring the LDO R2 kit. You see, he doesn't use it there. What did I not use? Power supply. There we go. Okay, so that is loose. Let's do this. Will the sourcing guide be revised with the different parts, or is it the same? It will be revised. Anything that's a like match, all the sourcing is the same. We just need to go through, and there's been a few changes, and like there should be a source for like the foam tape we recommend and other things. Something to note, kind of a related but a sidetrack. As with Trident, the MGN12 mod on 2.4, it's too tight of a fit for the vast majority of PL style inductive probes. So we recommend against running those. They won't. I mean, most of them aren't going to fit. There just isn't enough room. So that's a restriction that was introduced with Trident, and it carries over to V2. That's the PL08 and the PL05s. The Omron works just fine. And the Panasonic works just fine. Okay, I think I'm gonna loosen all this just to give me some slack, but I don't want to have the bearings fall out. That should. There we go, and we lose this. So the change to the major change to this, and why I'm swapping it out, is that little finicky hex nut holder we replaced with a printed part and a heat set. Oh. I have an older 2.4 V977. That's older? 977 is older? About 1,800 hours on it. Time to think about R2 and some new mods. Yeah. Decide whether to upgrade to 0 to 0.1 first. Angel, which probe will work better? I think the recommendation is the Omron. The Panasonic would work fine, but the PL probes, they're just too long. The body is too long. The MGN12 cartridge gets in the way. Carriage gets in the way. Do you recommend to do the umbilical mod to the V0.1 during the build or after I get it working? What's the umbilical mod? With a connector? The only thing I worry about with the V0 and any of the connector solutions at the stepper, at the tool head, is just making sure you still have enough clearance if you want to put a top hat on it. If you're not enclosing it, then it doesn't matter. But I like that umbilical to be very free to move around and not rub on the top hat. One part and two parts. The belt path is going to be relatively the same, but we need to redo the distance for the drive gear, the grub screws, etc. for the distance. On what? Ken, what belt on what part? Okay, I'm going to turn this over and unthread these so I don't lose my bearing stacks here. PMVE, I have no problems with the PL probe that I know of. The are you using it with the MGN12 setup? And like I said, you probably have a very little amount of clearance, and it also greatly depends on which hot end you're running. So for instance, the overall length of the Dragon is different from a Mosquito, and I think if I remember right, you would have more luck running the PL probe if you're running a Mosquito, but don't quote me on that. I'm going off memory, and that's not a good idea. On the drive gear on the motors, so you had said the belt path is going to be relatively the same. It's going to be exactly the same. I will check it all as I'm assembling and making sure everything lines up and the belt paths are good, but it should be exactly the same. Because it's so hot end dependent and specific part dependent is why we've recommended taking the PL probe off the compatibility list. If you are familiar enough with assembling these and you can make your own determination if it fits, then by all means use it. Examine these for any debris to clean off. Everything looks okay, so I'm gonna try to set that all on as one go. These are threading into plastic, so we're just gonna very gently make sure we're not cross threading. And then this bolt here, when you tighten this down, you just want to make sure, and I'm not even close, but you want to make sure it doesn't protrude past that surface. Mine's about almost a ½ millimeter under from that. So, but what happens is if that is extending past the surface of the plastic, then your stepper mounts there and it can cause it to be cockeyed. Jay, I'm talking about the full umbilical mod PCBs and pre-made harness. Should I install the umbilical during the build or just get a pre-made full LDO wiring harness? It's up to your preference. I don't have any experience with what kind of clearance restrictions there might be with some of those, so I don't have a good recommendation for you. What changed in the AB motor mounts? So the only changes to the AB motor mounts are the printability, the cross bridge setup for these counter sunk holes. And then the reason I'm swapping these out is both just to go through the process, but the cable chain mount changed to a single bolt, and then it uses a little printed part that goes in here, and then that's allowed to slide back and forth depending on the size of your chain. So it's a little easier. This is a lot easier to hold in place than that little printed piece that you put a couple of hex nuts in and try to hold all of that in place. Joseph Hugh, did I get accidentally banned? No, you're here. So the AB motor mounts are not a straight carryover from Trident, because the difference being the wire path, the cable chain mount, and the pass-through for the belts. Where are we at? We're a little over 2 hours now. We're doing good. So I want to loosen these so it's easier to but not all the way because I don't want to lose those bearings. So it's easier to snap back onto here. There we go. Bounce and catch. I'm not going to tighten these yet. So once everything's assembled, I'm going to make sure everything's still nice and square and not racked. Hi, the Weekend Warrior. Yeah, I apologize for the off day. I know it probably has gotten a couple of people who would normally like to attend, but I have other plans tomorrow. Put the stepper in place. No notification for you. Why is that not threading in? There we go. You subscribed and hit the like button and hit the little bell and everything, and it still didn't tell you, huh? Okay, I think this is going to be easier to actually attach when I can put the printer up on its feet. So I'm going to save that. The new foot is over here. Let's run the belt. So this out of the way. You're stressing me out. Thinking I gotta go to work tomorrow. Yeah. Wouldn't it be easier to just swap out the gantry and swap the R2 parts? I don't know. I don't think this has been too bad. It might be easier. How often do you have most of your printers running at once? Not often, but I have recently had up to, I think, 6 running at once. You can't like until Charlie comes in. Yeah, that's true. I'm being a little... Oh, there we go. I should get Charlie over here. I set this whole table. I left it pretty clear because I figured he would be popping up there wanting to visit, but he hasn't. He's been sleeping. That goes that way. Now I can take this. Put it with this screw. The change day is good for me. It means you won't clash with the IndyCar race tomorrow. Nice. Oh, shoot. What is that? Okay, so I gotta... I let the screw fall out of here. There we go. Changed. I'm just dropping everything. My V2.4 R2 parts are printing. Base color will be ready tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, so most of my multi-printer printing lately has been printing parts for printers. There we go. One of your YouTube tiers should be Charlie Snack, like a Scooby snack. I appreciate the ideas. Keep them coming. Why Saturday stream again if I miss that? I just have to be out of town tomorrow. Okay, that's back on. This is routed through the path as it should be. The idler. That. And then the top piece. And remember, the notch goes towards the panels. And that's gonna go under that. Right, like that. Sorry for the less than ideal view. What else does anyone print besides printer parts? That's a very good question. I don't have an answer for that one. Apparently flexible dragons lately. There we go. Printing parts for printers. Okay. And then the go back up in here. Running switch wire parts now for the ones you botched. There we go. That side, at least that part is done. Make some room. Charlie. See if he'll wake up. Yeah, dragons and Baby Yodas. Baby Yodas is kind of a little, that's past, right? We're done with that trend. At least until season 3 comes out. We got perfect stream to watch while working on our new design for the small drawers on the Voron branded hardware organizer. Cool. Got a nice slot for a label to the front. Okay, all of this is flush up here. This is our important part. Then make sure these are loose, so when you tension that, it doesn't tend to push this out of the way. Make sure everything is square. Tighten these. Things good. Things good. Did my stepper cable. Mechanically, just a different look. Do they need to be reprinted as well? What part? What part, James? These are mostly a different look. The functional part of it is that it moves this bolt out of the way of the pulley. Are the feet the same? Yeah. And you can actually run the compressor feet on this whole setup. Compressor foot will bolt right here the same way as any of the others. Killer Prints, appreciate the chatter. It's helping me focus while printing Sapphire Plus parts. There you are. Well, I think the important part is try to just keep talking, hopefully about relevant things, but it's a hangout, right? We're hanging out, I'm building, hopefully you're learning something, hopefully the opportunities for me to learn something. So the feet, this was changed, like I said this before, this was changed so the guitar amplifier feet would fit the setup better. The side effect here is these are now identical to Trident, so that the bottom panel here is the same between Trident and 2.4 now. And yes, those compressor feet do curl up. And they compress. That's why you get the printer leaning in the back. But a compressor foot will bolt right here. No problem. The bottom panel won't open and close without pulling the feet off with it right there, but it will bolt in place. I made that. I threw that over there into one of my bins and it went into the bin. Catting the stream is a nice way to have company. Yep. It's a nice way for me to have company doing this stuff. Oh, and the other thing is that nut there is captured now, so it's not going to fall into the assembly here as you're working on it. So okay. That corner is done. This is, yep, that's an old one. Let's see if we can move this around. Maybe get a Charlie visit in this little break before I flip it over. Oh. Sleepy Charlie. I do manage to miss that trash can right there all the time, but I can hit a square that large. He's sleepy Charlie. Look at that. Gonna wake up. I'm surprised he wasn't bugging me earlier. He was acting like he was going to, but I think I can find my bottom panel. Steve says, always use the bottom panel. Yes. Now, something we're going to work on here is, this is the old bottom panel, and it has squared off corners, and that will no longer fit. So I made a template to mark where those can be cut, and it's a printable template. Oh, I guess he's done. Cookie, he looks so small. How old is he? He's not that small. He's a good sized cat. I don't know how much he weighs, but he is almost 15. He'll be 15 in June. How to cut an ACM bottom panel? There's so little to cut on this. I would just Dremel it. Yeah, I would just grind it down with a Dremel. You're removing a really small piece. Let's see. There is an illustration. If you go to the GitHub, and let's go back to the main page, and under STLs in the tools folder is this bottom panel template. This is the file. Oops. It's just super simple. On the bottom, you can see here, there's an F modeled into the part. If we go back, there's just a real quick image. That F always points to the front. So if you see back here, F always points to the front of the printer, and the front of the printer is this cutout for the LCD. So as long as you use the F always towards the front, and then you mark this little piece and cut that out, and it'll fit. So I mean, if anybody actually, if there's any feedback on that, I used a template very similar when I modified mine for the other V2, and I'm going to use this template for this printer. But there is a little extra, like if you look, if you look here, there's a little extra here that doesn't match that radius, but it's the bottom panel. I know at least like Printed Solid is selling just the bottom panel for those that don't want to do this modification. I don't know what other places are doing similar. Yeah, what Gadget Angel said. Just the bottom panel. Hey there, Steve. Just watching your Euclid probe install stream. Yeah, I hope it's useful for you. This is the printer I have the Euclid probe in. My throat's getting a little dry. Coffee's gone. Switch over to another drink. Okay, so we have half of these done. So let me set Charlie over here. I'm sure he's got lots of things over there he can knock off the table. Let's see. There's a grub screw on my table. I'm gonna have to check all of them and make sure I'm not missing one. That could have been from something else, but we shall see. Let's go this way. Hi, David from Australia. Waiting for your LDO 0.1 kit to arrive. You're welcome. Glad they're useful. I usually stream on Sunday. I had other plans come up tomorrow, which is going to prevent me from being able to stream tomorrow, so I'm doing it today. Normal stream time is the same time, 10 a.m. Pacific, but on Sundays. Oh, did I drop that? What? I wonder what printer. That would have been the Prusa? Did that come off the Prusa? I'll have to check. I will have to check. Now these revised Z modules do require this short skirt piece to change because this profile changed. So if you see, it no longer matches. There is a new piece that does match. That. There. Print something if you get a layer shift. Yeah. Oh, I'm still gonna check all of these just in case it came from this printer. You guys still getting the music? Making sure everything's still good there. This is a front we are doing, okay. That moves. You're watching on your music's good. I really need to figure out why I can't hear it. When I can hear it, you can't. But that hasn't always been the case. I've usually previously had music on my side as well as yours. I'll let Charlie out. Okay, I think the goal here today, now that I'm working through and seeing how long stuff takes, I think the goal today is going to be finish the Z drives, and then we'll hit the gantry next weekend. So we still have a little bit to go. Probably go at least another 45 minutes to get this done, I think. Go. That off. You did hear the music in the start of the stream, as I think you heard it also, but it was very, very low. Yeah, it hasn't always been that way. Just have to figure it out. I can figure it out. I just need to spend some time. So much, just like so many little things end up needing to be done and close to a release, even a minor release. Just trying to figure out, get all the loose ends tied, and so I didn't spend any time trying to fix things on the stream. The print on this is a little tight. Hasn't been on the new part, so I must have been over extruding on these when I originally printed them. Any other, yeah. Oh, so this is one of my printers that runs fluid, and timely, it looks like we have a fluid update. I have no idea. I haven't looked even at what's changed, but that's exciting. we'll be running that, and maybe this might be my first experience with that. We can get to that next week. Because I need to update Clipper. So updating Clipper on the Duet might be a little tidbit that somebody might be able to get something out of. And then updating the fluid interface. Has anybody used it? What's the initial thoughts? Is it a major change, or is it? I really have no idea. Okay, pull that out. Steve, do you want to get out the old heat set inserts from the old parts? Yes, I do recycle the heat set inserts because I just don't like to let them go to waste. But I usually end up with a pile of parts, and I'll do a bunch of them at once. Doesn't seem to be major, but that's okay. As long as we can get some development going on it, that's a good thing. Yep. Hi, Oscar. These are tight. Charlie wants back in. We're going to play that game. Give me just a second. Okay. Steve, what mod is your TFT? So this is a WaveShare 4.3 inch display, and I'm using a slightly modified version of a user mod for the housing. And by slightly modified, let's see if I can. I changed the logo because it was a hex recess, so I just did the. It prints better when it's just the three things, and then on the side here, it was open on some of these, and I closed it because I thought it looked better. And that's all I did. That's all I did. Do I have a trick for getting the old heat sets out? I use the brass heat set tool, and I will just put this on here, let it warm up, and then I just kind of rotate it out, and it pulls out. Over time, it does kind of muck up the tip, but I've done quite a few, and it's still fine. My initial impressions of the screwdrivers, it's cool. It's nice and quiet. It seems to have enough torque for what I'm doing here. The biggest thing is just me getting used to grabbing it instead of grabbing my tried and true. Hey, Sander, thank you. Is the mod going on your parts and jigs GitHub? It could. It's just such a minor thing. I have a hard time putting it out there when it's, I mean, it's someone else's mod. I just tweaked it. I'm using Clipper screen on that. Just adjusting this slightly. I went a little too far. Killer Prince, that's a ES15. It's the new one that's come out. It looks identical to an ES126. It's just an ES15. I never had a 126 or a 121, so I don't know what the functional difference is, but oh. Connector caught in there. Oops. And that is not belt fell off of here. There we go. I modified an old solder tip and cut an M3 thread on it so it can just screw on, weight, and pull. The only problem with that is that, how do you get it off? This seems, I mean, rotating it out seems to work pretty well. I'll demonstrate that here in a second. Gives me an idea. Mill a brass soldering iron tip with threads, then just screw in, insert, and pull. That you could do that, but then you've got a hot heat set on the end of your soldering iron now, and you use another. But I'll show you. I'll go through. I'll remove a heat set and show you how easy it is. So that, all of this. Make sure these are loose. Lever. Oh, the ES126 is made by Sequer, and is a modified knockoff of the Miniware ES120, 121 design. The ES15 is a new version of Miniware. Thank you, Mr. Clown, for that clarification. Move sideways on a file. Yeah, you could do that, but here. I've got a piece here. If I warm up my iron, so I have just this is an Amazon tip. This is a Weller soldering iron, but it's hot. I just do this, and then it's starting to move, and then I just kind of rotate out. There it is. Heat it up enough. Get out. There it is. No, I mean, it's a two-hand job instead of 3 hands. A 1-tool job instead of 2 tools. What tool head PCB do you recommend on a 2.4? Well, I guess the recommendation there would be whether you plan on using an ERCF or not. Okay, let's get these, I think. Where's my little screwdriver? There we go. What do we got? Easy peasy. Yep. It is a Duet 2 and a Duex expander. And it runs Clipper just fine. No problems at all. Go. If I had known that was that easy, I would have thrown away so many used inserts. Yeah, I just don't like to waste them. And I mean, I bought 1,000 pack of inserts ages ago, and I still... Where are we at? There we are. I still don't... Where's my... Oh, this is what I have left of 1,000 pack. This, I think, was over halfway full of the bin when there was 1,000 in there. So I've gone through quite a few, which means I haven't really thrown them away, which means they're either in printers or they're in parts around here. No, this isn't a great view. Oh, there we are. Now we've got a idler to shift this around. Oh, I don't know why I did that. I'm not ready to put that back together. I gotta replace this. The belt's nice and routed though. Okay, I'll just move out of the way. This. Pop this off. Yeah. And this one, it should have not really any debris in it because I didn't have any belt rubbing on it. Try and true screwdrivers. What brand are they? RC type. Yeah, so this is a team associated. They're there we are. It's really nice. It's just a little short. It's a little short, but it's a ball end 2.5 millimeter. That's kind of a go-to. I bought this. This is a Bondhus. I didn't picture how long this was when I bought it off Amazon. It's also a 2.5 millimeter ball end. But I have a collection of others. I have some MIPs that I use. And Intigi, if anybody remembers that brand. I don't know if they're still around. I mean, the RC industry just has so much fun with these machined tools. They're so cool. This is just a Team Losi 7mm nut driver. Okay, so this is the idler. Pull that out. And yeah, there's really basically no, little bit, but not any real significant dust there like the other one. We will clean these off for what little bit there is. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, just kind of make sure all the rubber residue is out of there. Write them a message and ask for their bulk pricing. Yeah. Intigi, you remember? Oh, Dynamite. Yep. Dynamite was the, is that Tower Hobbies brand? Is Tower Hobbies even around anymore? Where's the LDO screwdriver set, or do we have to ask Dave and Jason? That is a great question. That could probably be a thing. I don't know. If, I think Jason's at Little League right now. But that would be interesting. I bet you they would. They could find a cool source and stuff. A screwdriver set. A Voron screwdriver set with red anodized handles. Oh boy. That might need to be a suggestion. That might need to be a suggestion. Horizon Hobby bought Tower Hobbies. Okay. Last time I bought from Tower was like 2005. Feeling something on here when I'm trying to clean it up. Anodized red and black grooves. Red is absolutely faster, and you can more. I don't want to say more torque, because more torque is not better, but maybe finer torque control because it's red. Okay, this piece is not used. Let's get the drivers out here. This is gonna go right like that. This is fine. Now, the orientation is such that that has to go like that. So let's drop that out, put that in, and it comes right up from the bottom, just like that. Easy peasy. Do I have anything? What is this? Oh, this is where, right? Yeah. There we go. Now we can put this back on. Oh, I lost the stick. Is that right? One more. Is that right? Yep, that's correct. What do we got? Where are Allen keys there? Yeah, these I like these. They seem to work pretty well. I think I only have them in the 3mm. I needed a good 3mm ball wrench, and so I just bought them off of Amazon. I have the ball end version and the straight version. Yeah, I agree, Weekend Warrior. I'm down for that. Absolutely. Okay, that's there. This and run it through the. So I've seen people go straight here and around, but on accident. Let's make sure we run it through the belt path. And idler. Goes like that. So this through there. Top, remember the notch goes to the panels. Like that. Yeah. Do I upgrade the tensioners, or is it okay to run the old ones? If you're not getting belt rub, it's perfectly fine to run the old ones. The idea is this will help prevent belt rub. So. And this pushes up in there, and we will this screw started. There we go. 3 of 4 done. Lots of belt dust all over the place as I move the printer around. I forgot to put heat sets in this foot, so I'm gonna do it on printer. These guys in. There we go. Oh shoot, I lost my. Can you guys still hear me? See, yep, you should be able to hear me. Let's see, I'm gonna grab these 2 heat sets I just pulled out. I haven't had to break out the magnifiers much today. This one, I'm going to drop it on the tip and then go. And one more. Just like that. Let that cool down a little bit before I tighten it up. Cool. One question I get. 7 engagements. 8 engagements. The Weekend Warrior. I had, before I found Voron, I had a hypercube. I'd modified a lot of parts for it, and all the parts. That's where my duet here was gonna go. So, hypercube evolution is what I was gonna build. The Hevo. It's not that one. Hypercube evolution. Oh, and I forgot, almost forgot the nut. I got the nut here. All of these. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. I'm trying to do too many things here at once, so let's get these out. This on there. Now I'll put these on. Yeah, there is a, I mean, the whole design philosophy around Voron is just the attention to this detail. And I really appreciate it when people notice that. What's the story on the Hevo now? Still alive? No, I got it built to the point where I had designed a 3-stepper bed leveling setup and had redesigned the gantry, and a local friend of mine and I were both going to build them, and he still prints on his. He's using all my parts on it and printing, but I found Voron and just set it aside. Just witnessed stealth runner beta and the niggling details. Wiley is sweating. Oh yeah, Wiley is amazing, and he has that attention to detail that I definitely admire. I have a whole bin of 3030 from the Hevo frame. Oh yeah, that's fine, PM. There are definitely areas that are there are plenty of areas on these printers that can still use improvement. So, gotta leave something for 2.5, right? Are the Mandela mag beds worth it? On the V0, I think it's worth it. I haven't tried one on the bigger printers. I agree on the clips. I actually really like the Voron hinges, the print in place ones, because they've lasted for me and they work really well. I know that's not everybody's experience, but my experience has been very positive with the hinges. The clips, I agree. I'm not thrilled with those. Where did my... There it is. Whatever happened to 2.3? It was an idea and then scrapped, and then 2.4, a different direction was taken, and 2.4 was the result. So 2.5 when? Well, R2 just came out, so I wouldn't expect it on the horizon. Okay, we are down to the last corner, and this one will be a little easier because I don't have to swap out that B stepper frame. So since we're not going to reuse this, I'm going to pull the hardware here. What's the gray thing under the PSU? This is a Meanwell 5-volt DIN rail mountable power supply. So it mounts directly to the DIN rail. There's nothing special about it. I don't even remember what the rating is, and it's just different. I wanted to try it. Your bridging game has to be on point for the hinges. But you can't really see that, but you can see it in the corner here. I've always been happy with the hinges. So I think maybe a little piece of the problem that people have with the hinges is after 2.4 was released, there was a spacing issue. They didn't account for the 1mm VHB tape, so they would bind up and not work well. That's been fixed. So if you have any hankering for giving it a try, the latest ones out there are corrected for that. Okay, let's pull this. Comments on the cost of a Short Boy 2.4. Costs more than a standard size one. Buying a kit, then additional extrusions. So how short? Well, you might save a couple of dollars in rails, but if you're buying a kit, you're gonna end up with rails that you're not gonna use. Short boys are cool. I know a lot of people have built them, but I don't know if you're gonna see any significant cost savings. If that's the goal, is to build a cheaper printer by making it shorter, I don't know that that's gonna be that much cheaper. The manual screwdriver here is still nicer for getting into spots, I think. Getting into stuff like that. And getting into this idler, which I should have loosened first. See ya, Chris. Thanks for being here. You could use this stuff that came in the kit and cut it down, sure. Yeah, this is another team associated, but it was a kit with a bunch of bits here. It's a little loud and a little annoying actually, because they all fall out of this end piece. But I bought some 1/4 inch ball end drivers off Amazon, and it works really well. Yeah, I'd be curious what the use case is for making a shorty. Okay, what do we have? Our last Z drive, which I missed the heat sets on that, so let me do those real quick. And I'm going to, just because, I'm going to recover them from another couple of pieces just to go through that same method again. Just let it soften a little bit. Pull them out. There's a set of hex screwdriver bits. They're very nice and fit normal 1/4 inch hex screwdrivers. Yeah, they're not expensive for these. Saving vertical space in your room is an advantage. That's good enough reason. That one's not pulling off, but we'll just go straight to putting it in the new piece. I can't see. These are still warm, but there's not a lot of mass to them. They cool down pretty quick. They're not blister, burn your fingers hot. I like the fact that the handle isn't round. Yeah, this is very annoying. I love this screwdriver just for its functionality, but more often than not, this thing falls on the floor because it rolls. I have a 310 by 310 by 315 Trident. My recommendation for anybody who is looking to build a non-standard size printer always go in 25 millimeter increments if you care about the skirts, because modifying an off number, my original V2 is a 320, and I made there's a mod out there. I have it's one of my published mods for skirts for a 320, and it was way harder to do than if you build in a 25 millimeter increment. Hey Jaeger, how are you? How about Trident? It's 250 and heat tends to keep on top of the printer. Yeah. So a shorty would give you some thermal advantages. With the WoW stick, it's always rolling around. Yeah. This is round. This is definitely round, but we'll see if it becomes a problem. Finally put the stealth burner on your Trident. How are you liking it? One more. Okay. So far seems nice. Haven't done many prints yet, but being able to see the first layer is great. Oh yeah. If nothing else, the LEDs on that makes it worth it. Great quality of life mod. What printer profile am I using? I'm pretty sure mine originated with the dock one and then has been tweaked since. So I use Prusa Slicer. I don't use Super Slicer. Just need to find a black silicone sock for the Dragon hot end. The orange one is, yes, you're absolutely right. The orange socks are really bright with that LED. There we go. This guy goes in here. Loosen all this up. Got a small spare. I got enough spare stuff except rails to build a 2.4 250. You'd like to build a Trident, but I see an improvement in building a Trident as opposed to a 2.4. No, it's just different builds. They are. I'm equally pleased with the print quality from both. Once I get this thing back up together, this and my two 250 builds are my go-to printers. They just heat up just that little bit quicker, and this is fine. Yep. And the ADXL mount, just used that last night. I haven't used that yet, but I've just installed it on the purple Trident, that whole setup. Yeah. Modifying the skirts is not fun. You could always switch to Revo. No giant orange sock there. Yeah. This here. I am not biased to the Trident at all. Just a little bit. There we go. The small nature of the V0 kinematics, is input shaper still worth it? I have not run input shaper on a V0 yet. I think it would still be worth it. Where did that screw go? Oh, it's in the it is in the part. I'm pleased with the Revo. I am definitely looking forward to an expansion of their ecosystem, just because I like to have a hardened nozzle option. That's the biggest thing. Where is the head of that screw? There we go. Who was the backbone for Trident design and dev? Well, I mean, I was the lead developer on it. I'm responsible for the skirts and the Z kinematics and the other little minor changes. That's the whole joke of I'm not biased at all on the Trident. Are the Voron Dragon hot end a good hot end for 2.4? Sure. Yeah, they're perfectly fine. Another thing I missed in the last 9 months, Wagos are now a thing. Yeah, they make the mains wiring just that much safer and easier for a build. The Trident serials have increased substantially. So we'll see where they end up going. We're at over 500, I think, now, right? My E3D Direct order that I placed on when pre-orders opened up, that shipped a couple of days ago. I ordered some stuff from E3D Direct. I ordered some stuff from Philistruder, and then I have the beta one, and they sent me a production Revo Voron one. But I paid for the rest of them on my own. Okay. We are getting close to wrapping up today. We are going to finish off with making sure it can sit on its own feet. And then we'll come back next week and get the gantry done, and we'll see how far we can get. I don't know. I don't have a good idea of how far we'll get next week. It might be a 2-stream series. It might be a 3-stream series. We'll see. There we go. Uh-oh. What did I do? Oh, I closed Oh well, I don't think I need the browser window. I accidentally clicked the mouse button and it closed the browser. Would be Trident versus 2.4 be any different of a choice if I intended to print PLA some of the time? There's no difference. I can't think of any reason that there would be a difference, but someone else might be able to come up with something. Just got your Revo Micro yesterday. How do you like it, Scott? What do you think of the smoothness of threading in the nozzle brake? What do they call it? Your V2 has taken a break from the R2 upgrade parts to print its Revo mount. Are you printing the stealth burner mount or the afterburner mount? Okay. We're at about 3.5 hours. That's about perfect, I think. Oh, losing the... There we go. It's on its own 4 feet. This stuff to work on. So now just kind of chat. Give us another 10 minutes or so. I think that's pretty good progress for a stream. Here's the Euclid, the probe on there. Part of me wants to redo my Z drives, but I just did it recently, and I don't know if I can stomach rerunning those belts yet again. Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be when I did this the first time. I mean, this would have taken a fraction of the time on my own, but that's not kind of the point. So it's not too bad. Especially if you mark things. Mine's easy because I cut them flush, so I was able to put everything right back the same way. The ability to cut those flush depends on how well you, let's see if we can get a little, how well you adjust this. So when I put this together, I threaded this in just barely, and then ran the belt and gave them some level of tension by hand, and then tensioned everything to make sure everything was good. Then took it apart and put it back together to make sure I could before I cut those flush. Magnus, I did know that there is a multimeter probe axe, but I think someone told me that on another stream. I didn't know that before I was told, but I did. I did find that out. Is there ever going to be an all metal, like mechanically hot, just the hot end, water cooled Voron that's well insulated? No, nobody has an interest in that. The reasons for the extreme chamber temperatures and all this stuff is to print filament that's ridiculously expensive. So, have you priced Peak and that? They are really expensive. So, tuning my micro right now. My son is upset that the Hemera upgrade isn't available yet. The Hemera upgrade should be, because that was one of the things I ordered from E3D Direct, was a Hemera upgrade so I could pair it with a Revo Voron heatsink. And at the time, before I knew that the individual parts were going to be readily available, that was what was said the cheapest way to get just the heater block and stuff. So that's one of the things that was shipped from E3D for my order, and my order isn't anything, mine just in the queue. So that now their supply number of them might be whatever, but some number of them have shipped. Scott, when you build your, did I read right that you're doing an LDO kit? If you're doing an LDO kit and you're building and you're starting with Afterburner and you want to, because the Clockwork One is what's compatible with the tool headboard right now. But I do recommend doing the stealth burner fan setup for it. Mostly because as you're building it, you want to run your LED wires ahead of time and not have to do that later. Agent Monroe, on the Revo, do you typically remove filament before you swap nozzles, or if you retract on end of print, is that not necessary? Correct. If I would set up an end of print or whatever retraction that frees the filament, so you don't have to worry about heating it up and then pulling the filament and then letting it cool down. Although it cools down and heats up really quick, I'd automate that. Oh boy, I'm hungry. I'm gonna have lunch after this. Charlie is sound asleep. Charlie. Nope, he's not waking up. Yeah, I'll see you again. That'll be fun. Nervous, but it'll be fun. So, what is that? That's interesting. I don't know if that's filament or it's a little super thin disc. It looks like a washer, but I don't know where that came from. I have no idea. I'll set that right there and look at that a little closer later. Is that why you have the official t-shirt on today? No, partially, sure. But I try to not wear the same shirt for several weeks. Try to keep it split it out. I mean, I only have so many shirts, and it'd been a while since I wore this one, so it worked out well. Your message gets banned. Been trying twice. What are you trying to send, Kim? Does it have any link or anything that YouTube might be seeing as a link? Because I don't do any filtering on the chat. If you're not able to send a message, it has nothing to do with me stopping you from sending a message. But YouTube will often filter stuff like that out automatically. Bill Brothers, you're north of San Francisco. That's not far. That's too small to be a bearing cover. I suspect it's actually just maybe a layer off of a printed part. It's super thin. It's like a layer 0.2 millimeters or something. Let's find out. Yeah, it's 0.238 millimeters. I have no idea. Came with the grub screw, yeah. Are you aware that Mandela Roseworks now makes a crossbar for their kinematic bed mounts? I am aware. I will, at some point, be installing the Mandela stuff on a V2. I also have a Whopping kit for a V2. So, I like to just try the parts. I think there's a lot of stuff that's really neat out there, and it's cool to be able to try it. Where can you order the Revo Voron heatsink? You can't yet. The only word that we've gotten on that is that they will start making them available after they're finished with fulfilling the pre-orders for the Revo 6 and the Revo Micro. It's possible I printed something. I'll look at it closer in a better magnification. See what it is. Gadget Angel. Oh, yeah. Yep. Canceled or failed in the middle of the first layer. That was, it could be something from there. Yeah, when I end up with one of those kits, I'll install it on stream. The concern I have, I need to find a printer that I can for sure drill a hole in the back, drill a hole in the center. So it's too thin to be the tensioner screw for the BMG stuff. Mistakenly only installed 4 screws on each rail of a 350. Oops. You know, with the right sensitivity on a probe, you can detect the screw points in the rail. You can see that pattern in your bed mesh. Bad Noob has done some meshes that he's shown where it's like 100 or I don't know how many 10 by 10 or whatever probes, maybe higher than that, and you can see the pattern that coincides with which bolts are put in the rails. Good night, Sander. It's plastic. It's definitely plastic. It's not a metal. Good evening, Knights. So yeah, this is a good time. I'm gonna hop off of here, go get something to eat, get a few things done, and go from there. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll continue this next week. Hopefully pretty much finish it off. We'll see how long things take. If it needs to go to a third stream, we will. And I'm sure I will see many of you in a few hours. So take care, everyone. Thank you again. Bye. I gotta find my mouse again.